Co-working spaces, accelerators and incubators are all vying for the attention of startups. Each option offers real advantages for a fledgling business, but it can seem impossible to decide which one is the right choice. But all three offer viable alternatives and have seen a surge in popularity as startups crave the flexibility and opportunities each one offers. While co-working spaces are affordable shared places where small firms, freelancers, startups and even entrepreneurs can rent out with office-like amenities such as hot desks, private meeting rooms, kitchens and more provided, many co-working spaces also offer advice and mentorship to startups through dedicated services, events and networking sessions. Incubators, on the other hand, are for startups in the early phases of setting up. They focus more on mentorship, do not operate on a set schedule, and are usually run by industry-specific companies and groups. They also have a competitive interview process that allows them to determine whether a company is a good fit for their services. Incubators will often assess the performance and progress of their client companies to ensure that they are reaching desired milestones. Accelerator programs operate on a set schedule and offer mentorship to improve your startup's growth. They invest time and resources into their client companies over a short period with cohort graduation in mind. Companies who utilize accelerators are typically technology-based and already somewhat established. The choice between a co-working space, accelerator and incubator will be very personal to you and your business. It, however, depends on your start's maturity and your future plans.
Nkechi, glad to have you on the show.
It's my pleasure to be here.
So are you happy with the quality of founders that you have found so far here?
The startup ecosystem in Abuja is growing. I mean, you can't compare it to Lagos that is more vibrant with more options, but Abuja has seen a growth, especially in the startups that are being funded. We have more developers that are being groomed and bred here in Abuja. And this is evident in the developer communities that are coming up. We have more of them coming up with more members. We've seen them grow, and not just in the number, but also in the quality of the ideas that are coming up. And we see lots of funding going into enabling developers build structures and build businesses. And I think this encouragement has pushed and compelled people to become developers, to learn how to develop. So it's a growing place, and I think we'll see more of that happening.
Well, I'd like to get your perspective on this. How do you think we can deal with the issue of startups who start here and end up in Lagos?
I don't think it's something that we should discourage or try to stop, because you might be building a solution here in Abuja and your market's in Lagos, so you'd have to go to Lagos. Or you might be building a solution and you would need to test it in Lagos, because Lagos has a larger market sample size for you to test with. So I feel like it's something that would happen, and we shouldn't try to discourage it. Plus, Lagos has a more robust investor community than here in Abuja. So it does happen, and I don't think we should discourage it. But what we can do to help is for us to get more active here in Abuja, for us to encourage more people to build businesses, for us to encourage more investors to spring up in Abuja as well. I think this would help boost the startup ecosystem here as well.
Why do you think that technology startups fail?
Some of the reasons I've seen that startups fail is access to fund. If they don't have funding to help them build their product or to build their business, then they run out of money to cover their costs. Basic things like paying for the skills that they use, or the developers that are working on the project, or rent if they have office rent, or internet, basic things. So they need access to funding to help them build. Another reason that they may fail is a lack of understanding of the market that they're actually building in. Sometimes they're building a product and you discover that the product you're building does not fit perfectly for the market you're designing it for. Smart founders are able to pivot, they're able to redesign, they're able to go back to the drawing board and jig it a bit to solve the problem. But sometimes they go on and they build it, and then the market itself rejects it. So we see lots of that happening. You've built a product and there is no market for it, or you built a product that people do not love. So I think those are some of the reasons that startups fail. Also, another reason is a lack of structure. When you're a one-man business or you're just two people, you may just build and go as it comes. But being able to build structure, a structure for hiring, a structure for strategy design, a structure for customer acquisition, every single thing. Most startups are very chaotic in their design. So being able to put structure in is important to help a business succeed.
What are some of the challenges making it very difficult for startups to scale?
Building a business is not easy. You could have $1 million, a product that people are throwing money at you and everything, and the business would still fail. So even if you have everything, another thing to look at is the founder themselves. Are they able to work at it? Are they able to persevere? Are they able to be resourceful? Not just having resources, but are you able to be resourceful to get what your business needs at the right time? So the founder themselves is also very important in building a sustainable startup.
You run a co-working space here in Abuja. What has the experience been like?
It's been really interesting because Nigerians, we're not so communal in the way that we feel. We like to build in secret. So you're almost afraid that your neighbor will come and steal your idea. One witch in the village will show up. But co-working is about community. It's about a community of openness, being able to collaborate, being able to understand that you need to share your ideas, you need to be able to get feedback, and you need to work together to build it. And I feel that this is a trend that would continue. Co-working it has really helped this ecosystem because we have more smart people working together in the same place, helping each other with the resources that they have. So you're building an app that helps people with their logistics, and someone else is a marketing expert, and they can work together to keep building. And I believe it's something that's going to keep happening because the way people are competing is changing. People are no longer competing to destroy each other, but now they are looking for ways to collaborate, to build together. So that's been my experience in co-working, and I'm seeing that Nigerians are beginning to embrace and understand that collaboration is the only way to grow. Being able to build community and be a part of a community would give you support to build your business.
What role do you think that co-working spaces are playing in helping to deepen innovation in the country?
Yeah, co-working has become a place for developers, founders to come together and work together and to build together. Because building in isolation increases your risk of failure, it increases your risk of being frustrated and depressed with the journey. But having other people alongside you that are building, it's encouraging. So we see co-working has helped create different pockets of places where people can build with others. And the more we have these different pockets, the more we have founders that are being supported, founders that have people to collaborate with and work with. So co-working has really helped to deepen the startup ecosystem.
In many other countries, government sort of serves as a bridge for co-working spaces to serve various communities. What role do you think the government should be playing in Nigeria?
There are so many things that the government can do to encourage co-working spaces to set up, and this is in benefit to the country. There's an understanding that the more co-working spaces that we have, the more entrepreneurs are able to access support to help them build their businesses. So things like tax incentives for people that want to set up co-working spaces, or a creation of some kind of co-working fund to fund to help people that also want to set up co-working spaces. And the government can in themselves also sponsor entrepreneurs with bright ideas to work out of co-working spaces, because that is a cost element that the government can take care of for these businesses. And for companies that want to engage in CSR, encouraging these companies to fund startups to work out of co-working spaces is another way to help co-working spaces be sustainable. Because if the spaces are in themselves sustainable, then they would have better longevity and be able to provide better support.
We wish you all the best, and thank you for being on the show today.
It's been my pleasure.
My guest has been Nkechi Oguchi, CEO Ventures Park, which is part of the Ventures Platform Hub. I believe that her point on ways to support more initiatives such as hers should be considered, because these centers usually serve as a launchpad for the creation of new ideas and possibly new startups. Today, Nigeria boasts of well over 100 co-working spaces, incubation hubs, and accelerators scattered across the country. But considering our population, we simply need more of these to spring up, and they should be well funded. It's a wrap on this edition of the show, but the conversation continues online. Join us on social media, and remember, you can watch the entire show on the channel's TV YouTube account or by checking out cfablog.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.